Hi, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss object cloning. Okay, so object cloning is nothing but it's a object copying. So copy of one object to another variable. So why we are going to study this? Like see any variable you will create. Like let's suppose you have created one variable and you are assigning some value like 10, 20, something like that, right? So let's suppose you are creating a variable. Let data equals 34, and you are trying to copy this data value to another variable. So in the simple you just will write let's suppose new data equal to data, and you will just write console.log and new data comma data. So it is like simple, like it will get copied and there won't be any issue. So if there won't be any issue, why we are going to study about object cloning? What will happen like when we try to copy object from one variable to another variable? What will happen? So see, there are already in the first class we discussed about primitive type data type, right? So primitive data type and non-primitive data type. So primitive data type we discussed regarding like boolean, number, string, all those are primitive data type. Non-primitive are arrays and this object. So all are non-primitive data type. So whenever we try to copy primitive data type from one variable to another variable, it will go as a copy of it. That means if let's suppose if I'm creating data variable and this is of primitive data type, right? It's a number, so it's a primitive data type. So once I copy this data to new data, and if I do any manipulation to new data, like let's suppose I'm trying to change or I'm trying to add some more value to this new data. So let's suppose if I'm writing new data plus 23, okay, equal to new data. So I'm adding new data 23. So what happens here? New data will get changed, okay, new data will get changed, but data value will be the same, okay, data value will be the same. I think somewhere I have done mistake. Okay, this DATA data capital, okay, just to clear. Okay, see, new data value is 57, but data, the main like variable, the first variable which where the value come from to new data, that remains same. So whenever we pass normal like primitive data type, it always copies new as a new type, okay, as a Xerox type. So that is called pass by value. So pass by value is nothing but we will pass the primitive data type to the variable, or when we pass the normal variable value to function, like let's suppose you are creating a variable data and you are passing to this function, okay, let's suppose you have created one function called fun1 and you are passing the value as new data, okay, and you are just taking the value of data, okay, you are taking the value of data. So let's suppose I'm just doing let result equals new data plus 34, okay, and I'm just trying to print console.log result, okay, it's simple. So let's call now this function and pass the data variable, okay. So I'll call this function 1, and now in the value I won't pass any number, I'll pass this data. So I'll pass data. So what happens? Function 1 will receive 34, so new data will be 34. So 34 plus 34 it will add and it will show the result. So once you print, it will show you 68, right? So 68 it shows. So that means like whenever we pass any primitive data to function argument or to another variable, then the original variable value will not get changed whenever we try to implement or do some operation by taking the previous data, okay, previous or the upcoming like or the argument value. Okay, so original value will never get changed. So that is primitive. Okay, so these all are with the primitive. So these conditions are called pass by value. So in pass by value is nothing but when primitive data are passed to the function argument, all the values will be copied to the original copy of original value variable value. Okay, so all the value which we are passing from original variable value, that will be copied. Okay, and any modification done for the argument variable. So see, here we did new data we took, and we did new data plus 34. So I am adding 34. So data we are passing, but the data value will be always 34. Data value will never get changed. Okay, so that is pass by value. So here you can see one function we have written change value x equal to 100. We are reassigning the value of x to 100, and then we are printing the x. And now outside we are passing let a equal to 10. So a equal to 10 and change value of a. So change value, so a we are passing as a 10. So x will be 10, x will be 100, but so here x will be 100, but a value did not get changed, right? So a value will be still 10. So outside function means after this change value, after calling this function, still a value will be 10 only. There is a printing mistake. So a value will be always 10. So this is called pass by value. Okay, pass by value, like it's how you have to think, no? Like let's suppose you have brought one box of chocolate, and you are just giving, and all are similar chocolate, and you are just giving one chocolate to your friend. So he has just one chocolate. So whatever changes he is doing, either he will eat chocolate or he will throw chocolate, but your chocolate or the box will not get affected, right? Because he has separate things. Like let's suppose I have original copy of some document, and I did Xerox and I gave it to you. Now you tore that Xerox or you lost that Xerox copy, but my original document is still safe, right? Only Xerox has gone. So that is called as pass by value. So it passes as a copy of the variable. So original value will never get changed. So that is pass by value. So there is one more way of passing the data. One more way of copying is pass by reference. So pass by reference is nothing but pass by address. So now let's suppose you have brought a box of chocolate. This time you are not giving the chocolate, but you are showing the box to your friend. Like, okay, this is the box, here are all the chocolates in this box. So what happens? So friend can change or modify. So friend can take chocolate from the box. That box value got changed, right? Previously it was 5 chocolate, now it became 4 chocolate. So the main address, because now we are not giving him chocolate, now you are showing him the address of the chocolate, where we get the chocolate. Previously what we were doing? Previously we were just taking one chocolate from the box and we are giving it to him. So nothing happens to the box, right? But now what we are telling? We are telling, okay, I won't give chocolate, but I'll show you where the chocolate is found, right? So let's suppose in one shopkeeper, shop is there. So let's suppose I bought 2 chocolate and I gave it one to friend. So he don't know from where we got another chocolate. But when I showed him, okay, in that shop the chocolates are there. So what he will do? So he will go directly to that shop and he can buy all the chocolate. So tomorrow you won't get the remaining chocolate, or you won't get any chocolate. So one way is directly giving the value, one way is passing the address, means showing the address, okay, in this place the things are there. So I am not giving you the chocolate, I am just telling you, okay, from this place I got the chocolate, and I also got the chocolate from same place. So if you go and change that address value, then I will get affected. Means if you go and take the chocolate, but I will go and I won't get the chocolate, because I will think like, okay, in that same shop I will get the chocolate, but already you have bought all the chocolate. Then that time what you are doing? You are going to the same address and you are modifying the things. So that is called pass by reference or pass by address. So all the non-primitive value will occur as a pass by reference when we try to copy. Okay, when we try to copy. So let's suppose one object, we'll take example of one object. So one object is there, and if you are trying to copy to another variable the same object, that time the copy is getting created to another variable, but it's an address of the same object. Means any changes to that person will do to that object of his object which I gave copy of my object. So that time what happens? even my object will get changed. Got it? That is called pass by reference. Okay, so see, so pass by reference. So let's try it out. So instead of primitive value, I'll just pass name colon John, okay, and age colon 34. Let's suppose I'm just, this is one data. Now what I'm trying to do, I am just trying to create a new variable, new data, okay, and I'm passing the data same way like previous. I'm just assigning the value of data to new data. Now what happens, now new data will change. So will just happen new data dot age to 45. Fine. So we are understanding like, okay, new data is basically the copy of name and age. So whenever new data will change, new data only will get affected, but data will be remain same, right? That is our intention or perception. Now once we try to console dot log new data comma data, now you see I have changed new data age. New data is a copy of this object. I have changed new data age, but I have not changed data age. But even though I have changed only new data age, it will go and modify the data, because what is happening, both data and new data pointing to the same object, okay, pointing to the same object. That means the address, there is one address, let's suppose object as an address. So address is there, their name and age is there. You also know name and age is there in that address. So whenever you go and change that address, in that address age or name, then if I want that, okay, no, I am expecting age as 34, 34, yeah, but you have made change age as 45, so I will get affected because we are going to the same address. Okay, so always object cloning will happen, like copying. If any changes to the copied object will be there, that will affect to original object. So this is the biggest problem, right? Because like this means this is not a copy only. Copy means what? Let's suppose I did one document Xerox. Xerox means what? Always Xerox, copy, these all means if anything happened to the copied document, original document will be safe, right? But in this scenario, in object scenario, original document is not safe, right? So anyone is coming and they are changing or they are modifying. So see here, data also is 45 and new data also is 45. So it's very big like improper way of copying. So always object faces this copy issue. So we have to find out such a mechanism to copy an object from one variable to another variable, where if I do any changes to the new variable, should not affect to the previous variable value. Okay, previous variable value. So how we should do that? So we will go for shallow copy or object cloning or copying. So how we are going to copy so that it will not affect to my object, it will not affect to my original object, it should only affect to whatever cloned object is there. Okay, so we will use object dot assign. Instead of directly passing data to new data, we will write some methods, object method, and in that we will pass this data. So that's how what will happen, if any changes to the new data will be there, will not affect to the original data. So that is method available is object dot assign. So object dot assign takes two parameter, one is target to where it has to get copied, and one is source or multiple source will be there. Okay, either source one means from multiple places you can copy the data to one place. Okay, but what advantage it will give us? It will give us, whenever we assign this object dot assign to a new variable, if any changes will do to that new variable will not affect our original variable. So let's try now. So now what I do, I won't pass data, I'll just write object dot assign. Okay, object dot assign, I'm just passing new object I'm creating, and I am just passing the data value. Like by this way I'm copying the object to the new data. So by this method what happens, now whenever new data is got changed, my data will be still having age 34. Previously it was having 45 data, but now it is safe. So now it became proper copy of the object value, right? Because we have the issue with the object copying. Direct, if you will pass like as primitive data, then it will create a issue, because whenever anyone changes to their properties, then but it will change to main property, main variable property. But using object dot assign, yeah, any doubt you have? Yeah. Okay, already I taught. Okay, but it's a cloning is required. Wait. Okay, so basically, so what happens, like this data will be passed to new data. Fine. So here what happens? Here the value will not get affected. Okay. So next is how we are going to check with. Okay, so this is fine, right? But you can see all the property is having normal value, right? Primitive value. So this property is having primitive value, because this is string, this is number. But when I try to add one more, like let's suppose when I try to add address, okay, and address is itself is a object, okay, object. I taught object dot assign, but I may not taught how to do deep copying. Okay, so see address. So this address is having, now see, one property is having primitive value, so that is a string. Another property is having primitive value, that is string, that is number. But third property is having itself a object. It's a nested object, right? But this time the third property is having nested object. Now we'll do the same, object dot assign data. Now let's suppose, now what we are going to do, we are going to do age 3045, and we are going to call address, new data dot address dot street equals Sarjapur. Okay, so now also we are expecting same, right? Because when data, because data and new data is totally different, so we are expecting data as names on age 34, address is street Indiranagar, and new data we are expecting names on age 45 and street Sarjapur. Okay, so I'll just clear and I'll print. Now see, names on age 45, address street Sarjapur, so that is fine for new data, right? But you can see the data again. So data is names on age 34, but address you can see still street is, now its street is Sarjapur, but basically we are expecting street as Indiranagar, right? We are expecting street as Indiranagar. So now it's failing, because when object property will have a nested object, okay, if object property will have the value of primitive, then no problem, you can use object dot assign. Okay, so nothing problem will happen. So if there is no nested object property value, then you don't have any problem, you will just use object dot assign. But when it will have nested object, then this is also getting fail. Now object dot assign is also getting fail. So now we'll go for deep copy. So how deep copy means? Deep in the sense means go inside object, means completely disconnect both. Now even though we used object dot assign, still it was connected with nested. It was not connected with the parent, but it was connected with the nested. But when we have, it should not connect, because copy means always it should be different, but it's failing. So we will go for deep copy. So deep copy, what we'll do, we'll use JSON parse and JSON stringify to that object while passing the object to the another variable. So with that, what happens, if any nested will get changed, even though nested value will get changed, original will not get affected. So this got drawback now. So I'll just use JSON dot parse JSON dot stringify. So now if I pass a data, now if I try to change new data address of street as Sarjapur, then now you will see there is no change. See, so street is Sarjapur for new data, but street is Indiranagar for original one. So this is called deep cloning. Deep cloning is what? It's a nested. You go inside, deeper inside, and then clone it. Is there also separate it, but object.assign was only separating the top layer, not in the nested layer or deep layer. Okay, so this is the concept of deep copy and shallow copy. So shallow copy is nothing but it's a top one, but deep copy is going deeper inside, and nested also trying to discontinue. Okay, so this is object cloning concept. So I might taught the object assign, but I might not taught the object deep copy, right, previously. Amar? Okay, fine. So this close the object cloning. Now I have checked with the syllabus. See, so syllabus has check for variable object array string value. Okay, so this cannot be displayed in the PPT. So this I will teach you directly. So check. So why this check is required? Like whenever you go to any project or do any kind of operations, so you have to do if condition always, right? To execute some conditional statement, you have to write some condition. So there are multiple primitive, non-primitive are there, right? Primitive and non-primitive are there. So we have to go and check. So let's check for primitive value. Okay, so let's try with let ABC equals 23. Okay, so if you have to check if it is a number or if it is greater than 23, then you will just use ABC greater than 23. But if you check here, if you check if ABC is 23, okay, ABC is 23, but it might happen ABC will be empty. Okay, sometimes value will come 23 from the database, or from database it will come empty value. So how to check? If any data coming from database in ABC, we don't know, sometimes it comes empty. So you have to check, it should not be empty or it should be empty. So how to check? So you have to write if ABC not equal to empty, like this you can check. Okay, or if ABC equal to empty. So this you are feeling very easy, right? How it's a normal, already non thing, right? But let's suppose empty, instead of empty, it database is giving undefined. Undefined is also one value. So again you have to write what? Again you have to write and ABC is not or equal to undefined. So like that you have to check, right? So like this kind of check you can do for ABC check. Okay, now another check is if let's suppose ABC has array. So see, ABC has array of 23. Okay, but if we check, already we know, like if we try to check type of, so there is one variable called type of, the keyword called type of. So type of will give you the type of data. Like let's suppose ABC is having type of data as array, or before array I'll go for ABC as string. Let's suppose I'm just writing str star, and I'm checking if type of ABC equals string, right? Equals string means if ABC star is ABC value is string value, the type of data ABC acquiring is string value, then do something. Console.log. Okay, just will write success. You can do so many things here. Okay, so this is one checking of the string value. See, so it's a success. So I have to check with string value. Now let's suppose if you are checking with number, then it will come for number, like let's suppose 34. So string value will get fail now, right? It will get fail. So either you can check with string, so you can check with number. So you have to check if value is number, then you can check type of ABC equal to number. So now it will come success. Okay, now let's suppose we have array. So array. So if you want to check ABC type of ABC equal to array, right? ABC type of equal to array, and now we'll just do console.log and we'll just write fail, right? So see, fail I'm writing, right? So if already we know type of ABC is nothing but it's an array, but when I'll try to print also, right? I'll try to do console first, console.log type of ABC is, I'll just write some comment, so I'll just type of ABC. Okay, so this for our purpose, like whether the type of what it's coming, so whether it's coming array, string or number. So let's try. So once we execute this, we can see type of ABC is object, which came fail. So in JavaScript, array is also a object. Okay, in JavaScript, array is also a object, and if we pass here object, this time also it will come ABC as object. So we got confused. So sometimes from database either array will come or object will come, and we know to manipulate array we need for loop, to manipulate object we need for in loop. So how you will identify whether the value is coming as object or whether the value is coming as array, because both the type of is giving you object only, right? If it is array, that time also it's coming as object. If it is object, that time also it's coming as object. So how to differentiate? So to differentiate, if it is array or if it is object, we will use, instead of type of, we will go for some other things. So if it is array, so we'll check for array dot is array. So there is one method called array dot is array, where if we pass any value, if the value will be array, if the value type will be array, it will give you the array. Okay, so now we'll just write array dot is array. Okay, so now see, now it will give array. Previously it was giving object, now see it will give you true, right? So is array, it's giving true, right? So if we pass any string, it will return you false, or if you pass any object, it will return you false, right? So that's how we differentiate between array and object, right? So if array dot is array is not giving you array, that means either it is string or it is object, right? If array of value is array, then it will give you true. So that's how we can differentiate, because array and object both are treated as object in JavaScript. That's why we are trying to use, instead of type of, we are trying to use array dot is array. Okay, so that is one thing. Now next is how to check whether array length is greater than 0 or array has some element or not. So let's suppose this is array, but you wanted to do some operation based on the array data. If data is only not there, how you will go for the operation? So for that, what you will do, you will write ABC dot length greater than 0, you will check. So like that, if check you will do, right? If length greater than 0 or length equal to 0, like that you will check and you will do some operations. Okay, so array you have to empty, you have to check like this. But same way, if you want to check for object, so let's suppose you want to perform something, but before that you want to check whether object is empty or whether object is having some property. So what you do, you just get the what is that, let keys equals, we can use object method called object dot keys. Okay, ABC. So what happened, all the key it will get from the object, but there doesn't have key, and key will always return as array, always return type is array. Okay, so once the key will come, so I'll just write console.log keys. So this is for checking whether this ABC is having empty object or whether it is having some property. So that we are checking. Okay, check for the empty object. So now what happens, now we can check if, because always it returns array, so if any key will be there, definitely array will have some element, but if any key won't be there, definitely array will have empty array. So what we do, keys dot length greater than 0, like this will do. So we can check for empty object. See, it's an empty array because object dot key abc nothing having, it doesn't have any key. But if we write any key, then what happens? Let's suppose we have one key, object is not empty, so that time what happens? You will get name. Already we know object dot keys will return all the key inside the object, and object dot value will return all the value inside the object in the array format. So this is how we can check the empty object. Okay, so either empty object, either empty array, you can check. Got it? Fine. So check for variables. Now, yeah, any doubt you have? Okay. Now let's suppose you have ABC as empty. Okay. So either empty or undefined. So if you want to check for both, so how you will do? If you want to check for both, then what you will do? You will check ABC equals empty, right? And again you will check ABC equals undefined. So basically you have to check two times. So array will the value will be either undefined or will be either empty. So instead of writing these all, just write exclamation ABC. So exclamation ABC is nothing but its ABC is equal to either empty or ABC is equal to either undefined. If it is not exclamation, so I'll write here exclamation ABC is equal to ABC equals empty or ABC equals undefined. So it will check for both. If ABC is having undefined, exclamation ABC will be true. If ABC is having not empty, ABC, this condition will be true. Okay. So same way, if you don't want to be empty or don't want to be undefined, so just remove exclamation. So exclamation, without exclamation, variable value directly passing to if condition that shows equal to ABC not equal to empty or ABC not equal to undefined. Okay. So these two conditions. So if you pass directly if ABC, instead of writing ABC equal to empty, ABC equal to undefined, directly you will write not ABC that handles both the keys. Same way, if you want to get the data, if you are passing ABC is having the real data, then instead of writing ABC not equal to empty or ABC not equal to undefined, directly write ABC. That's it. So that will be as a true. It will handle both the keys. Okay. So this is very important. So many places you will use in the project. Okay. I will also use in the project. These all checks we are doing so that error won't happen. Because see, if you check previous itself and then you go for manipulation, then it is good, no? Because previous check only you will tell, okay, if it is there, then only go for do map do for loop or do for in loop. But if it is not there, why we are going to do for loop, right? So that time it will create error. So before that we will check. So anything we'll check and then we'll proceed further. Okay, got it? So now next is how to get array first element and how to get array last element. Tell me how to get array first element. Use some brain and tell. Let's suppose I have 34, 56, 67. Okay, I want to write a code which gives me first element. I want to print first element. What you will do? How to access first element from array? ABC of 0, not dot 0. It's not object. ABC of 0. So that will give you first element. How to get last element? Okay, see, so to get last element, so see, ABC has 3 element here, ABC can have 5 element, right? Any number of element ABC can have, but we wanted to get only the last element. So tell me ABC, last index, right? So last index, how you will get? Tell me how you will get last index. Let's suppose now you are able to count 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you are able to count, right? 6. 6 is the last element. But if I deleted this, then again you will count. Okay, 5. Like this, code should not be there. Code should be generic. Either array having 4 element or 5 element or 3 element or 2 element. Always I have to get last element, means some code I have to write which will always give me last element, right? So like this it will get fails, right? It will get fail because again we have to count. So that is the reason we have to go like this. See, array index start from 0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So last index is 5 here, right? And tell me what is the total length of this array? Length of this array, tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total length is 6. So at least we know total length. Any array, either 2 element or 3 element or 4 element, we can get length easily. Array dot length, right? If we do any array, either array having 4 element or either array having 2 element, if we write array dot length or ABC dot length, we will get the total length, right? So see here, total length is 6 and last index is 5. That denotes like last index 5 is last element, right? That means length minus 1. So if you do length minus 1, that will always be a last element. See, so now if I write ABC dot length minus 1 inside ABC of inside array. So what happens? ABC length is 6 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 minus 1, it's a 5. So ABC of 5 is nothing but 67. Now let's suppose I am deleting this 3. Now tell ABC dot length. ABC dot length is 3. 3 minus 1, 2. So ABC of 2 is nothing but last element. Definitely ABC of 2 is nothing but last element. So no need to change anything. So this is the way we can get first element and last element. Understood? Last element how to get? Got it? Because last element will always be the length of less than length, one length. Okay, tell me. 4 minus 1. Array is how many element? 1, 2, 3 only, no? So 3 minus, no, 3. Length is only 3, no, not 4. Length is 3 because only 3 element are there, no? 1, 2, 3. So 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is nothing but 2. So array of 2 is nothing but 67. That is last element. Got it? Understood? So this is where we have to calculate, we have to find out array dot length. So these all things I am teaching you today because it's not for the simply learning purpose. It's very useful whenever you go and work on the real project. When I make you the start project and when I give you the data from the database, then once you work, that time you have to check all these things. Okay, so check for for this reason only I am telling you to do. Got it? Okay, so these are all the checks was there, and some other checks will come while doing project, I can tell you, but I think that is the maximum things like checks are there available. So you have to do either primitive or non-primitive or empty object or having an object having the value, or okay, let's suppose I have to check object has property or not. Means I'll tell you some scenario. Okay, so let's suppose print success if object is not empty. How to do? Tell. I have to print success if object is not empty. How to write code for this? Think properly. Means let's suppose one object is there, okay, and I have to check whether this object is empty or not. So if it is not empty, then I have to print success. So let's suppose I am just telling name equal to something. So already we know, we'll find object dot key. So we'll just do if object dot keys of obj, right, dot length greater than 0, that is only. So print console dot log success. Got it? So see, either you can do this in one variable or you can write it inside if condition, both are same, or you will just pass it here. Let check equal to, or you can pass it this, anything is fine, right, or directly you can write it here. Means if key, any key is there, that means it's correct, it's having the property, but if any key won't be there, it's not having the property. So that's how we can check. So another scenario I'll ask you, okay, do something, print success if object is not empty and object has property as name. Now tell how you will check. Means object should not be empty also, object should have name property. So how you will check this? So this type of scenario will come, you have to check. So one thing, object is not empty, you will check by using object dot key. So you will check object dot keys object dot length greater than 0. Now what you will check? Now you will check and okay, and obj dot has on property, has on property name, right. If both is satisfied, then print success. Right. Now see what we checked, if object is not empty, means if length greater than 0, that means it's not empty, and then object has property. So object obj dot has on property name, so name should be available, then only we'll go and do for some success. Okay, this one is printing. See, so this type of checks you have to find out. Okay, so this type of scenario you have to use in whenever you are doing for going for the what is that, database manipulation, right. So this type of checks you have to do, so you have to understand all these things now. Got it? So all object method, if you check, you will get to know, okay, how to use, where to use, what to use. Okay, fine, that's it for today. Okay, thank you.